My name's Chris Young, Raptor Films, White Orchid Wedding Films and other things. I've just come back from filming a wedding at St Andrews, and I just wanted to make a short video about some interesting businesses and work ethics that I observed while I was there. For example, let's take the farm I had lunch at on my way up to St Andrews. It's like a cafe, restaurant, play area for kids, nice, lots of parking. Nice place, very busy on Saturday when I went up to grab some lunch. Okay, so I went in, it was all masked up, not because I was going to rob the place, but just, you know. And I couldn't find the entranceway, first of all, into the cafe. Found the exit, where it said exit only. I thought, oh, I better not go in there, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Literally or metaphorically. I went out the building and round again and then back, and I thought, oh, maybe I can't find the way in. So I went back into the gift shop, and there it was on the other side. It was on the far side of the wall, whereas the exit was on the near side. So first of all, I didn't know where to go, so better signposting would have helped. Went in there, lovely toilets, wonderful toilets, you could, you know, yeah, good, the toilets were good. Somebody came up to me almost immediately and asked if I was okay. I said yes. I was looking for some lunch, table for one. So they found a table for me near the window, and it was fine. And the waiter was very kind and civil, and he said, okay, the special is this. Special soup is this. It's what was it? It was spicy tomato with some herbs in it, and it was like a chicken and bacon panini. And I thought, right, that's good. I'll go for those. I don't really want to look at the menu. If you think they're special, then I'll think they're special. So I ordered them, got the Wi-Fi password from another waitress, that was all fine. Logged in, started doing some writing, blah blah. And then the food came, and it was brought to the table, and the soup was delicious. It was really, really good. I thought, oh, I'm going to enjoy this. And the panini was also nice. I mean, I was just like stuffing it in my head because it was so good. Unfortunately, the experience was marred by not one, not two, but 3 wasps. And the first wasp came, and I didn't kill it against the window, and I should have done, because it just bothered me for much longer after that. And then I said to the staff, the staff member came to me and said, is everything okay, sir? I said, no, there's a wasp bothering me. He said, okay, I'll go and get the spray. And he went and got the spray, but the spray he got was window cleaner, and he was spraying on the wasp. And the wasp was like, oh my god, what have I done to deserve this? And it didn't die because it was just window cleaner. I don't know why he was spraying with window cleaner, but that was the cleanest damn wasp I've ever seen. Eventually the wasp was so high on this stuff that it started like drifting down to the ground, and it got stuck in a spider's web, and I thought nothing more about it. And then another wasp came, and I thought, oh no, another wasp. And then that one flew away, and then a third wasp came and landed in my soup. It just went bzz, on the spoon. Like the spoon, it landed in a little pool made by the spoon. And I was like, oh my god. And I was like fascinated by this. I was like peering in. I was like, oh my god, there's really totally a wasp in my soup. I said to the staff member, look, it's in my soup. And the waiter went, oh my god, all right, okay. And he went away, and he came back with a little plastic cup, like a little plastic medical cup, and he scooped the wasp up and took it away. He said, I'm very sorry, sir, and off he went. Now, I ate the panini, and I was looking at the soup thinking, the soup's really nice. It's really nice soup. Do I want to eat the soup knowing that a wasp has been in there? And I remember that, like, hard to tell if the wasp was happy or not when it was dying. It just looked like it was slowing down, as if it was like it came up for the 3rd time, and then it just sort of disappeared. And I wanted to eat the soup, but I couldn't. But I didn't want to complain too much because it wasn't the guy's fault. But if it was my business, I would not have done that. I would have taken the soup away, gone back to the chef, and said, look, got a wasp problem here. Can you help me out? And the chef would have gone, sure, here you go. But no. And nobody came back and asked me after that if I was all right, and I wasn't all right. What could have been the perfect dining experience was marred forever in my memory by the wasp attacks. So in the end, I didn't eat the soup. When I paid, I said, look, I'm sorry, I couldn't finish the soup. And he said, oh, that's okay. Blah, 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 blah. And he didn't charge me for it, which is fine. I was happy with that, because it meant I'd got half a bowl of free delicious soup. But what I wanted was a full bowl of free delicious. What I wanted was a full bowl of delicious soup, and I wouldn't have minded paying for it. Or 1.5 bowls even. Anyway, that was interesting in retrospect because of all the other businesses I looked at later as well. Let's look at the bed and breakfast. A young chap there called Ilya, who looked after me, and from booking all the way through, basically everything, it was almost as if he was running the place himself. I don't know. Like, he called me after I booked to check the check-in times. He welcomed me at the door. He did everything. He showed me the room. We had a chat about my business arrangements and stuff and parking. Oh, the breakfast, you had to book the breakfast the night in advance, the night before. It wasn't a whiteboard, it was a laminated menu is what it was, with little check boxes. I went to bed, woke up the next morning, getting ready for work. I was a bit nervous about filming the wedding. That was on a Sunday morning. So I ordered the porridge and the vegetarian fried breakfast, because I wanted to have a big breakfast, but I didn't want to kill myself. First of all, and I don't usually take photos of food, but I had my camera there at the time because I was looking through some photos I'd taken the day before St Andrews, and the porridge arrived, and it was like it was a bowl of. It was porridge art, basically. It was a bowl of porridge, but it had like 3 different types of fruit in it, and it was arranged in a pattern. And the pattern of the fruit was like geometrically symmetrical, and each piece of fruit was equidistant from everything else, and it was. And then I tasted it, and it was really nice. It was like, I've been eating porridge for ages now, and the consistency is always a bit runny it's either too runny or too dry. But this was like, it was fantastic, and it was sweet, and it was just, I couldn't eat it fast enough, and it kept dripping off my spoon, and I was like, the spoon, the only criticism I have of that bed and breakfast is the spoon that I used to eat my porridge, because for some reason it always had a blob of porridge hanging underneath. I don't know if that's the spoon manufacturer's fault or if I just don't know how to eat properly. And then the full vegetarian Scottish breakfast arrived for vegetarian Scotsmen, and that was really nice too as well. And it was good, and it was very filling, and it did the job of a meat breakfast. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to sleep on the Saturday night because of people shouting golf comments from a nearby bar. This guy, he sounded like he was an American guy, saying, Hey John, if you only had one type of club, would you use a 6-iron or a 7-iron? John, 6 or 7? John, would you use a 6 or a 7? And it went on like that for ages. And then I could only hear him. I couldn't hear the person to whom he was addressing his comments. And then I woke up early in the morning because I had neglected to close the curtains. It was bright. I had neglected to close the window, and seagulls were making their presence felt, as they do at the beach. That wasn't Ilya's fault. But he served the food, he brought stuff in and out of the kitchen. For all I know, he made the food himself as well. Who knows? But he was just a really nice guy. He was like friendly and just personable and very helpful, which was great. And I just really appreciated that. And then we had a nice chat at the end. I'd forgotten my PIN for how to pay, and he was like, "Don't worry about it, I'll send you the blah blah blah," and we blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it was all good. It was just a good business. I left there feeling that it had gone well. Let's go to let's go to the hairdressers next. I got my hair cut. I had to get my hair cut because I figured that if somebody's going to pay me to film their wedding, then £10 or £20 of that should at least go to having a tidy head. But I forgot. I had to get my hair cut on the Saturday, and I only remembered at 6 p.m. when I went out to walk around the town, found a hairdresser's that would be open Sunday morning. I thought, well, that's cutting it a bit tight, but better late than never. And then I walked around and found another hairdresser's on Market Street. It was a Turkish barber, and it was 7 o'clock exactly. And on the door it said, open until 7 p.m. And there was 3 people outside who looked like they might work there, and one young chap, I caught his eye and I was like, "Are you closed?" And he said, "No." And I went in and he sat me down and he got started, and I fell into a conversation with the owner of the hairdressers. And he was very chatty, and he was very positive about his business, and he was very honest about things. He was telling me about how the number on the buzzer is a third of the millimeter length of the hair setting, you know. So like on my buzzer, it tells you the millimeter length, but when you go into a hairdresser, they want to know the number, the setting. So it's a third. So if you want to get 12 millimeters on the sides, it's a number 4. That's pretty good, isn't it? And then we're talking about Turkey and how it was for him, and how he found it difficult to set up his barber shop in St Andrews, but he knew that it was a good location because there weren't many other barbers on Market Street. And we're talking about like ebb and flow, and how like a lot of students, they get their haircut before they come to St Andrews, but so there's a few months of quiet, and then they all need to get their haircut at the same time, and it goes up like that in waves. And he also said, yeah, it's quality, not quantity. He said he doesn't advertise. I think he said he doesn't advertise anymore because he could get like a lot more customers, but he would rather have less customers and do a better job. And I thought, yes, that's what I want to do with weddings. Let's move on to the Fairmont Hotel. Now this is a beautiful hotel. It's huge. As I was driving out to it, I thought, oh, it's such a shame that they have to go all the way out here in the middle of nowhere to have their hotel. And I thought, no, wait a minute, surely it's a plus point that it's out in the middle of nowhere. And it was a lovely drive up to the front door. I had to go in and look around and figure out where I was supposed to be. And I just started chatting to everybody at the door. The doorman, I mean, you know what it's like when everybody's got masks on. You don't know who's who. But I was talking to the porter. He was very professional and friendly. And then I was talking to the receptionist, very professional and friendly. And then I was like talking to the staff behind the bar, and just people dotted around. I had to ask them questions like, where am I going and stuff. Everybody was all very, very nice and friendly and professional. And there was no doubt, no hint of a suspicion that I was being shafted somehow, which I sometimes get from businesses, because I've worked for businesses in the past which have kind of shafted their customers a little bit. But everybody seemed very nice, and they seemed like they would bend over backwards if they could. And the food was delicious there as well. Not quite enough though for me, but I ordered the curry, and it was fantastic. I just wanted more. You know, when they give you a nice curry and a bit of rice and a naan bread, it was delicious. I just wanted the volume. Was not quite the band for the wedding. Now this is interesting because the wedding was running behind schedule. Like it was like an hour later than we were led to believe the first dance would happen. I was fine. I just sort of sat down and waited and just rearranged things. I started doing things that I usually do after the first dance, before the first dance. Got warmed up for the messages, which worked quite well. Do that again. But the funny thing was, there wasn't a band hanging around, or, you know, like sitting staring at the guest. Waiting for the guests to hurry up and finish their meal and get out so they could set up. There was nobody going like, what time was the first dance or anything. They just weren't there. The guests finished their meal, and then the band came in and set up on the stage, and everyone was very chilled out. There was no rush, there was no panic, there was no, oh my god, we need to get this up. And even like little kids were playing with the instruments and stuff, and the drummer was like, nah, that's fine, look, this is how it works and stuff. And I was just thinking, wow, that's cool. Why is nobody panicking? And also the band was just really, really good. They were very friendly and helpful to me, as I wanted to ask one of them to switch on my GoPro before they started, which was hanging upside down underneath an archway at their back above the drummer. And the drummer was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And then I said, oh, can I connect my mic into your sound desk? And we had a chat about that. And the whole, like almost all of the band members was like, oh, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can plug it in there. And I thought, no, it wouldn't work because not all of the instruments are mic'd up. And I just thought, wow, that's really nice people. Because you know when you see a band and you kind of feel like you're not with the band. you feel like you're, hey, we're the band. You're not with the band, like that. This band was not like that. This band was like, hey, you're not with the band, but that's okay. You know, we'll still talk to you. You know, you're a supplier too. We could be dicks really, and it wouldn't matter. But they're just like really, I don't know, maybe they're all Buddhists. Like they'd all had like spiritual teaching. Nobody had gone to them in a business meeting and said, look, you should be nice to everybody because they could be your next client. It was as if somebody had like sat them down and got them to meditate on top of a cliff and just sort of listen to bells and just hum and think, yeah, we're at one with the universe. You know what I mean? You see the difference? And also their music was very good, and it was interesting because they said, right, we'll get everyone on the floor for the Dashing White Sergeant. And people got on the floor, and then they didn't do the Dashing White Sergeant. They played a bunch of pop songs from the 80s, 90s. I thought, oh, that's a good idea. They get people onto the dance floor with the promise of a ceilidh, and then they just play they just play like their set, and I keep them up. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Well, whether they did that on purpose or not, whether it was just a skillful maneuver after a misunderstanding or whatever, they just rolled with it, and everybody was like, yeah, let's do this. And for I don't know how many hours, a couple of hours, they were like, each member of the band looked like they were really enjoying themselves. And the singer was a young woman who looked quite a little bit, well, smaller than me, a little bit smaller than her voice and her experience and her skills and talent and her knowledge of lyrics and all that, and her charming personality. It was like the TARDIS. All of that stuff was somehow inside this young woman. 4-piece band, and 3 of them were young women, and the drummer was a young guy. I suppose the older I get, the younger people get. But so I mean, usually it's like 4 or 5 big guys, isn't it, with egos? Oh, I'm just getting my ego on the stage here. They had the attitude and the skills and the talent, and they had the what it takes to be a really good wedding band. The pub is the last one I've got here. On the final day of my trip to St Andrews, I went to a pub, and I had wanted to go in there in the evening before the wedding, but part of me was loath to go into a pub the night before a wedding because I thought I might I'll just have one drink to calm the nerves, and then that drink was really good. I can't, you know, quit the buzz now. I want to have another, and so on and so on. And I didn't want to wake up with a hangover because that would be unprofessional. But I did go in before leaving St Andrews because I was hungry and I needed the toilet. I went in at 12 o'clock. They looked like they just opened. I asked, are you still serving food? Yes, come down here. Don't have, please scan this for test and trace. So I don't have a smartphone, blah, blah, blah. So I gave them a number, and they took me to the table, and it was fine. It was a nice smelling pub. You know, when you go into a pub sometimes and it smells like the lines aren't clean, or the dishwasher is got a layer of mank in it or something. Again, from past experience. But no, it was a nice place, and they had decorations on the wall, as pubs do. There was like quotes about whiskey. But the waitress was very nice. She was like I don't know, she was slightly older than me, and she had a nice kind of soft voice, and she was just very attentive. And I think I was writing or something, and then I was going to try and go to the toilet before my food arrived, but it didn't. But I didn't. It did. The food arrived. I said I was just going to go to the toilet first, and then she said, "Oh, I'll put it back under the heater lamp for you." I was like, "Yeah, please." So that was good. I came back. The food was delicious. Oh yeah, they told me what they didn't have as soon as I arrived, so that helped a lot. Because don't you hate it when you spend 20 minutes deciding on what to have, and then you order it, and then they say we don't have that. So they told me at the start, look, we don't have this, 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 and this. I said, okay. And then I had the food, and it was nice. It was really nice actually. It was like chicken and leek pie, I think, with chips and peas or something. Had a Coke. Oh, they didn't have any ginger ale, and that was that. I paid up, and it was all fine. So 6 businesses there of quite varying degrees of, well, they were all good. They were all like above par. But it was just really interesting seeing how attitude shapes everything, you know, attitude. And that really affected me. And it made me think about my business, and do I have the right attitude towards business, towards the service that we provide. So it just made me think, and I just left St Andrews with a good feeling, and hope almost that it is possible to have a good business ethic. I don't know about the financial side of things, obviously, because I don't know how much money is coming in and how much money is going out, but in terms of the service that you are providing, the quality, the professionalism, the friendliness, the attitude, I don't know what it is. I'll call it the je ne sais quoi of business. So that's it. I just wanted to do this video so that I would remember and remind myself, and also maybe it might help any other businesses out there or services for me to share what I observed. And anyway, that's all from me. Take care out there. Goodbye.